Angel's Throne Series 6. Chapter 1, The Veil Cracks. Reality bled. Where Ethzel stepped, the air itself trembled. He did not walk, he was movement. A roaring silence pulsed with every flicker of his fire form, melting celestial boundaries. Gabriel fell to his knees in the valley, his voice caught in his throat. This is not holy. Michael raised Verithiel, but the blade shattered in his grasp, crumbling like ash in the wind. He stared at his empty hands, powerless. Lucifer stepped forward. So the Creator feared you. And now you return not to destroy, but to be remembered. Ethzel's voice came like fire inside the minds of all who stood near. I was memory before light. I was light before law. And now, I am law undone. Sara staggered as the throne within her pulsed violently, responding to Ethzel's presence. She screamed, not in pain, but in awakening. Visions flooded her, millennia of truths erased by angels, gods, and prophets. The throne was not a seat of judgment. It was a seal. And now, it was broken. Chapter 2, The Covenant of Dust. In the Hall of Broken Oaths, a space between time, Nerratha gathered the remnants of the Seeping, risen mortals, and even rogue angels. Her body pulsed with light and shadow intertwined. Ilium stood before her, his eyes dark with burden. You've changed, Nerratha. You're not the same as before. She turned to him, calm and regal. I am what happens when light and shadow are honest with each other. Is that what you call it? He whispered. Honesty? She walked slowly to a cracked altar. The Creator made laws. Ethzel made consequences. That's the truth they buried. A scroll burned before her, ancient language written in divine flame. A covenant, rewritten in dust and will. We are not forming an army, she declared to the gathered rebels. We are forming a memory the Creator cannot erase again. And in the deep void, something watched. Not heaven. Not hell. The remnants, forgotten spirits cast out in every divine war, awoke from slumber, drawn by truth at last unsealed. Chapter 3, Michael's Mercy. Alone now, swordless, Michael stood atop the ruins of Heaven's Gate. He remembered the rebellion. The first screams. The silence that followed. And the moment he turned his blade on Lucifer, not because he hated him, but because he believed. Now? He wasn't sure what belief meant. Lucifer approached, quiet. The fallen morning star no longer carried flames, only burden. I didn't fall to conquer, Michael, he said gently. I fell because truth was not allowed to stand. Michael's fists trembled. You led angels to ruin. I led them to choice. For the first time in eons, Michael wept. And when he turned to Lucifer and said, then help me fix this. The stars above stilled, because the impossible had happened. Michael and Lucifer stood united. Chapter 4, Sara Ascends. Sara floated above the desolate earth, the angel's throne now fully awakened within her. It no longer required a seat, it was a living flame, wrapped around her soul. Her eyes burned with golden fire. Winds of time whipped around her, every moment past and future opening like pages of a book. She saw all outcomes. All destructions. All salvations. But her heart ached, not for power, but for purpose. Ethzel appeared beside her, his form of fire silent. No threat. No demand. I am not your enemy, Sara, he said softly. I am your origin. Then why do I feel like I'm dying inside? She whispered. Because you were never meant to carry divinity alone. Sara's body began to fracture, glowing cracks racing across her skin like a celestial porcelain shattering from within. Her humanity was being overwritten. Until a voice cried out from the void. Sara. Ilium. He reached out, not with power, but with memory. Their shared past. The girl she was. The world she loved. And for a moment, Ethzel recoiled. For the first time, he felt a sliver of fear. Chapter 5, The Crimson Reckoning. The skies ripped open as the celestial war erupted, not with swords, but with truth. The remnants. The risen. The forsaken. The faithful. All battled not for victory, but for definition of reality itself. In the heart of the storm, Sara hovered, her voice echoing through all realms. You told me to choose. Between light and shadow. Between heaven and hell. But what if I choose something else? She turned to Michael, Lucifer, Eliam, Gabriel, and even Nerratha, every soul that had stood on opposite sides. I choose to rewrite the throne. Not with power. But with remembrance. And with that, she tore the throne from within her, casting it into the heavens, where it shattered into 1,000 stars. Ethzel screamed, not in death, but in rebirth, dissipating into the constellation of a flame, now part of the eternal sky. Balance returned. But heaven would never be the same. The Starborn Veil. Tagline. The throne is shattered. The war is over. But what lies beyond divinity is far more dangerous. Chapter 6, The Silence After God. There was no dawn. After the throne was torn apart and the divine flame scattered into the sky, the heavens fell into silence. Not peace, silence. The kind that weighs on existence like gravity. The kind that makes you wonder if the universe is holding its breath. Gabriel wandered alone through the outer rims of the celestial void. His armor was gone. His wings dim. But something within him stirred, a pulse beneath the silence. A calling not from heaven, nor from earth. It came from beyond. From the veil, a forgotten realm whispered about in broken angelic scriptures. The place where the Creator went when the world was made. A realm outside time and divinity. Michael felt it too. So did Lucifer. And so did Sara, though her powers were scattered, fragments of the throne still flickered in her heartbeat. The sky above her shimmered with pieces of the celestial flame, and when she reached toward one, it whispered her name in a tongue older than light. Sara, the veil must not be lifted. But it already had been. Chapter 7, The Last Letter of Israfel. Deep within the ruins of Vermeil, a letter survived the war, sealed in light, untouched by flame. It was addressed to no one, and everyone. I am Israfel. Once the angel of judgment. Now the watcher of what remains. The veil was never meant to be touched. Beyond it is not death. Beyond it is truth unshaped. Do not follow what calls. Even God fears what lies on the other side. Lucifer stood over the ruins, reading the words aloud to Michael and Gabriel. None spoke for a long while. Then Lucifer looked up, his voice quiet. We broke the throne. We ended the war. But we opened the door. Chapter 8, The Broken Sun. A star fell. No one saw it. Not in the way mortals see stars. This star broke inward, not in fire, but in song. And where it landed, the world warped. Reality flickered. Time stuttered. And from the crater rose a being not of angel or demon, but something new. Something born from fragments of Sara's power and remnants of the shattered throne. A child ageless, with silver eyes and a voice that echoed with creation's own heartbeat. It simply said, I am Viral. The Starborn. And I do not dream the way you do. Sara found the child in the ruins of time itself. Her voice trembled. You were born from me? No. Viral said, staring at the stars. I was born from your choice. Chapter 9, The Veil Tears. It began with the moon. It flickered. Like a candle about to die. Then, the heavens began to shift, not crack or tremble, but rearrange. The constellations bent into unnatural alignments. The divine language, once etched into the fabric of creation, began to rewrite itself. And from that distortion came the tear, a rift in the sky. Through it, one could see not stars, but eyes. Watching. Waiting. The veil had torn. And something beyond it was waking. Lucifer stood before it and whispered. So. This is where he went. Michael clutched the hilt of a new blade, forged from fallen starlight. Then maybe this is where we follow. Chapter 10, Starborn Requiem. Sara gathered those still willing to fight, not for power or thrones, but for understanding. She led a small company into the heart of the tier: Lucifer, Michael, Gabriel, Nerratha, Ilium, and Viral. Beyond the veil was not dark. It was white. Blinding. Eternal. Formless. And in that endless white stood him. The Creator. But he did not speak. He did not move. He was weeping. Each tear became a universe. Each breath a star. Each silence a death. Sara stepped forward. Why did you leave us? The Creator finally lifted his gaze. And spoke. Because I could not bear to see what you would become. Greater than even me. And then he vanished into them. Each of them, touched by the divine essence, now carried a piece of creation. But so did something else. From behind the Creator's absence came the Unwritten, a being that never should have existed. Not light. Not shadow. Not flame. But negation. A void that feeds on meaning itself. And it had followed the tear. Chapter 11, the name that cannot be spoken. They stood frozen before it. The Unwritten. It had no face, no form, only an absence that made reality shiver. Where it moved, language died. Colors unformed. Memory turned to dust. Even Lucifer, forged in fire, stepped back. Gabriel clutched his chest. It's erasing existence itself. Michael's blade dimmed. No light could survive near the thing. Sara turned to Viral, whose silver eyes reflected not fear, but recognition. What is it? She asked. Viral's voice was soft. It is what never was. The page God never wrote. It is his shame. Can we kill it? You cannot kill what has never lived. But you can choose to remember what it seeks to erase. Sara looked at Lucifer and Michael. Then we do not fight it with power. We fight it with truth. Chapter 12, the Tomb of Voices. They returned to the shattered ruins of Sanctum Celestis, the original temple of the Word, where the first angels were named. The echoes of every divine song still lingered in its hollow walls. Here, they would forge a countersong, a remembrance, shaped not by force, but by unity. Sara, Michael, Lucifer, Gabriel, Ilium, even Nerratha, sat in a circle. They sang not in harmony, but in confession. Each offering a memory they feared to lose. Michael confessed his first doubt. Lucifer confessed his final prayer before the fall. Gabriel wept as he sang of the Creator's last words. And Sara, she spoke her humanity. The room shook. Their voices became a flame, a defiant ripple in the Unwritten's void. Not power. Not might. But meaning. Chapter 13, the first unmaking. But it wasn't enough. The Unwritten descended upon the mortal world. Cities crumbled not in destruction, but in forgetting. Children vanished from memory. Names dissolved from history. Faith evaporated like smoke. Ilium stood at the edge of one such city, his birthplace, and felt nothing. Not sorrow. Not fear. He could no longer remember why he was supposed to care. Nerratha touched his shoulder, her voice sharp. Feel something, Ilium. Don't let it erase you. But the erosion was deepening. The Unwritten was learning, adapting to memory, feeding on their defiance. Sara screamed into the sky. You want nothing? Then come take it from me. And it did. The unwritten reached into her soul and began to peel away her name. Chapter 14, Lucifer's Light. As Sara began to fade, Lucifer stepped forward, not as a warrior, but as a brother. He whispered her name, Sara. Again. Louder. Firmer. Sara. He drew from the core of himself, his original light, not corrupted, not fallen. The spark the Creator gave him before the rebellion. You are not forgotten. You are not unwritten. Lucifer opened his arms and let his light burst outward, not in violence, but in remembrance. Every moment, every choice, every loss he had ever felt became real again. The unwritten staggered. It recoiled, not from pain, but from certainty. Sara gasped as her name returned to her lips, burning like fire. I am Sara. I remember. And the unwritten began to fracture. Chapter 15, The Veil Crumbles. The final battle was not fought in a place. It was fought in remembrance. Every angel, every mortal, every star and whisper of soul, lifted a single memory, any memory, into the sky. A laugh. A love. A wound. A sacrifice. These became weapons. The unwritten collapsed beneath the weight of what could not be erased. Its body tore into ribbons of silence. And as it vanished, something was left behind. Not ashes. Not ruin. But a blank page. The veil faded. And beyond it was no throne. No judgment. Just space to begin again. Sara looked to Viral. Is this the end? The child smiled faintly. No. It's the first true beginning. To be continued in Series 7, Ashes of the Infinite.